All right, here we go. Welcome into the Rocky Top Insider Instant Reaction Show, Game 2 for Tennessee from the Knoxville Regional. Ryan Schumpert, Rick Butler. Ryan, Tennessee gets it again. They pick up a win today by a score of 12-7 over Campbell. But it wasn't too easy. It was actually quite the nail-biter, quite the back-and-forth game. But Tennessee was continually able to rally during the game. But let's take it from the top. Campbell jumps out to a 4-0 lead by the end of the third inning. What did you kind of see from there, and how nervous were you for what Tennessee was going to have to face for the rest of the game?
I don't really know about nervous necessarily, but yeah, I mean, it was a really impressive third inning for Campbell. And really, the first few innings, they made everything on Chase Dolander hard, which Chase Dolander has been unhittable for a while now for this Tennessee team. And they reminded me a lot of the Wright State game last year, and the fact that they just wore Tennessee away on at bats. I think it was a ton of foul balls in the first couple innings. I think there were 13 foul balls in that third inning when they blew things open. So they took the air out of this crowd and did something that not a whole lot of teams have done this year. Really, Baylor is the only one that's given Chase Dolander issues like that. But Tennessee immediately with the response there, and I guess what was the top half of the fourth inning, the cut into the lead, and from there it was just a shootout with both teams going head to head.
Yeah, it was very kind of back and forth. You're right, from that moment where Tennessee puts their first runs on the board there in the fourth inning, and then they followed that up with a solid fifth as well. But I want to go back to the defensive side of the ball. Kirby Cannell comes in for Chase. What did you see from him, and why was he able to be successful tonight?
Well, he was fantastic. For one, I think to a degree, Campbell was all over Dolander's fastball. Kirby, a soft throwing lefty, I think did a great job of mixing in his off-speed pitches, throwing them for strikes consistently, and that's kind of what the Campbell players said after the game, that he kind of got them out of their rhythm, and at the same time, he got into a rhythm and was really, really good. He gives up the 2-run home run in his second to last at bat. Besides that, I mean, there was not a lot of hard contact. He walked a couple guys, gave up a couple hits, but nothing really threatening in a big way, and it was huge for Tennessee because for Dolander to struggle, they needed a long bullpen outing out of someone, and for them not to have to use Camden Sewell. They do use Redmond Walsh in the ninth inning, obviously a lower leverage situation after they get some insurance runs. I think that was really, really big.
You know, one of the fascinating things that I take away from this game, and going back to contrast it a little bit from yesterday, Tennessee was able to wear down, who was it yesterday?
Alabama State.
Alabama State, thanks. Okay, so Tennessee was able to kind of wear them down over the course of the game, ends up winning 10-0, but they never really gave them a chance to get back into the game. Today, again, a little bit of a different story, but I think that what you really saw tonight was Tennessee's resiliency throughout the entire game. They got their best from Campbell. They got the best shot they could get, and certainly Campbell put up a very impressive performance tonight, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But man, Tennessee was just able to weather the storm. They were able to stay tough, and then, like you said, able to get those runs late in the game, get the victory.
Yeah, well, I think you've got to applaud Campbell's resiliency, too, because it looked like they could have gone away there in the middle of the games. When Kirby got in that groove, and Tennessee had a 3-run lead that felt pretty comfortable. They had all the momentum back on their side, and Campbell kept coming. Even Tennessee gets an insurance run in the top half of the eighth inning. They answer with a run in the bottom half of the eighth inning to get it back to 1. And we both kind of teased it, but you can't put enough emphasis on what Tennessee did in the ninth inning. A few fielding mistakes by Campbell gives Tennessee some opportunities, and then Christian Moore pinch hits for Blake Burke, runners on first and second with 2 outs. Moore has really, really struggled since his great performance in Tennessee's Sunday Series finale win at Florida, probably about 5-6 weeks ago now. He works a 3-2 count. He singles up the middle for what was just a huge insurance run.
Yeah, that was a really great play, especially for the situation that was at hand.
Yeah, definitely. And then Cortland Lawson kind of puts the exclamation point on it the next at bat, hitting a 3-run home run into the Tennessee bullpen back there, opposite field shot, and from there it was all but over. In this game, it was as crazy as much offense as we saw. I guess you can't truly say it was over, but you felt really good with Redmond Walsh still coming in. And I guess that probably speaks to how high scoring this game was and how good Campbell's offense was. The Tony Vitello, Frank Anderson, they still go with Redmond Walsh in the ninth inning despite them opening up that lead and leading by 5.
All right, Ryan, so Tennessee with the win, 2-0 so far throughout the Knoxville Regional, but with the win, they advance to the Knoxville Regional Championship game tomorrow. They will take on the winner of either Georgia Tech or Campbell. What are you kind of expecting from this game?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of tough to say not knowing who the opponent is, but, I mean, it's a double elimination tournament, but so much about this tournament is winning the single elimination portion about it. Winning your first 2 games. I mean, that's the difference, and now Tennessee will have 2 games, one on Sunday night and then potentially one on Monday if needed,
Yep.
to get 1 win, take care of business, where if they would have lost that, where now Campbell's set, Campbell's got to win 3 straight games to get out of this regional, and what that does to really depreciate your pitching, to test your pitching depth, which Campbell has a handful, 4 or 5 impressive arms, 2 starters, 2 added a bullpen. They've used a lot of those guys now, so I think that's huge. And then you add on the fact that Campbell and Georgia Tech are going to be playing at 2 o'clock tomorrow, and then turning around and playing at 7.
The doubleheader, yeah.
It's going to be 2 games in one day for those teams. So you really cannot emphasize just how important this win was. Tennessee wouldn't have been dead by any means if they lost. Certainly how good this team is. You can't put it past them winning 3 straight games with their pitching depth. But things would have been really dicey heading in tomorrow if they lost. Now a lot more safe feeling is Tennessee needs 1 win in 2 games to advance to the Super Regional for the 2nd straight year.
Yep, no doubt about it. That is going to be tomorrow. It is going to be kind of rounding down what has been a long baseball weekend here in Knoxville. But again, with the win tonight, Tennessee moves to 2-0 so far throughout the tournament, and they will play again tomorrow with a chance at the championship on the line. All right, that's going to do it for us in our RTI Instant Reaction here today after the Tennessee and Campbell game. Again, Tennessee takes the victory over Campbell by a score of 12-7. For Ryan Schumpert, I'm Rick Butler. It's the RTI Instant Reaction.